feel like a number of people have been eagerly anticipating this next video because this is where I start getting back into Hong Kong. But first, I have a little bit I want to share in terms of the return to Hong Kong. One thing is, packing up a whole house that's going to be torn down is no joke. Uh, and I will never forget my aching feet, my sadness about the things that had to get left behind that were meaningful to me. And on the other side, when we got to Hong Kong, the things that didn't make it. Um, to this day, I do struggle with hoarding a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that's why. Um, but we didn't go directly, we didn't leave our house in Topeka and arrive directly to our flight to Hong Kong. So we did again what we had done before. And that is, we had some other stops. So this time was Phoenix, Arizona. I was a 15-year-old kid, and our mission, my older sister was there. And at this point, there was, the details are a little fuzzy, so hopefully I'll get it right. But my family had been asked, based on my older sister Gretchen sharing on our experience of homelessness in Los Angeles, to run a similar exercise for students in the ministry training school there. So to do another 48 hours homeless with them, kind of teaching them, coordinating, but also doing it ourselves. And it's very, very different to be homeless in a big city as a 9-year-old kid than as a 15-year-old teenager. As a 9-year-old kid, I didn't have a care in the world. I was just along for the ride. As a 15-year-old, I was worried about a lot of things. So I can remember getting to the rescue mission that we went to, and they didn't have room for us. So they said, well, we're going to put you up in this hotel. Well, if there was such a thing as a negative 1-star hotel, the place we ended up at was it. You know, it looked like a place that prostitution was run out of. It was filthy. And then, you know, they asked our backstory, and, you know, we, like, similar to the first 48 hours, you have to make up a backstory so that you will be treated as genuinely homeless to get the experience. Which we did. It involved my losing all my clothes. And so I was not allowed to wear the clothes that I had brought. Instead, I was going to be, I had borrowed clothes um, a, from a Goodwill store, I think, at the ministry base to wear. I didn't even wear, you know, anything I had packed or was comfortable wearing. And then, you know, at the rescue mission, they asked me to pick out clothes. Uh, it was a different experience in that we weren't able to actually complete our 48 hours. And the reason why was right on the front end in order to take us in. Um, so after our first night in that really grody hotel, so this is the day 2, in order to take us in, they wanted us to commit to 6 months there for vocational training. And so that whole conversation happened while I was being taken in another room to wear clothes that I was going to have to wear to go to school that day, because it was also during the school year already. Um, and I remember just rising anxiety in terms of, I was looking at the clothes. I knew at least what the fashions were in Kansas. I was worried about getting laughed at or picked on or bullied. You know, and as the anxiety was rising, but I had picked out the stuff, my parents told the people at the mission, after having put us up for a night, that we were not going to be committing to a 6-month program. We didn't want to do that to them, you know, commit it and then reveal the actual situation. And so, you know, my parents' story was that we were going to stay with my uncles to get back on our feet instead. And the lady who helped me pick out the clothes, after hearing my dad make this statement, came back in a huff and ripped them out of my hands to return for people that she considered would be more genuinely in need than us. So that was interesting. And as you know, we were, yeah, we probably made it a good, 36 hours instead of 48. And same as the last time when we all got back together, there were some really amazing experiences, some really incredible stories. And then we moved on. So our next destination was LA, which is where our flight was going to be. And we had, I don't remember, a couple of nights, maybe a week, together with my older sister Gretchen and my older brother John before we said goodbye. To this day, I still deem it probably the hardest goodbye of my life. That they were not coming with us, that we were starting a new life without them. And because, tickets were super expensive, I didn't know when I was going to see them again, how often I was going to see them. It was the age of snail mail, so keeping up was dependent on letters. Email was kind of new. I'd used a little bit with, Prodigy and then AOL. That really dates it, right? This was 1994. And yeah, I can remember the night before we took off. My sister Gretchen and I had a couple of shots of espresso that we got from the Embassy Suites happy hour where we were staying. And we stayed up all night just talking and just soaking in the love. Knowing that we were about to adjust to a significant loss because there was no video chat. And phone calls at the time were incredibly expensive, the long distance phone calls. Letters and emails were all we were going to have till our next visit to the United States. And I don't know. I don't know if this is something that, people often think about, this separation from family, from loved ones, and even from friends in terms of missions. It's a huge sacrifice that we only do for the sake of the purpose, for the sake of the calling. And this got long enough that I guess Hong Kong is going to the next video.